Nelson Mandela, a name that reverberates not only across South Africa, but throughout the world. A name synonymous with unwavering resilience and the pursuit of justice. His life's journey is a testament to the power of unyielding conviction and the profound impact one individual can have on a nation and beyond. Born into a world deeply scarred by racial segregation, Nelson Mandela's story is a powerful testament to the struggle for equality. Emerging from a humble background, he rose to become a beacon of hope for millions, eventually dismantling the oppressive apartheid regime in South Africa. His life was marked by sacrifice, unwavering activism, and an enduring commitment to justice. Join us on an exploration of Nelson Mandela's life as we navigate the turbulent eras he lived through, the battles he fought, and the lasting legacy he bequeathed. A legacy that continues to shape the world today. Discover the man who forever altered the landscape of South African politics, and stay with us as we delve into the extraordinary life of Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela was born on July 18, 1918, in a small village in the Eastern Cape province of South Africa. His birth year coincided with a time of immense social upheaval in the country. Raised in the Thembu royal family, young Mandela grew up with the values of dignity, respect, and justice deeply ingrained in him. His early life was marked by the influence of tribal customs and the wisdom of his elders. However, tragedy struck when Mandela's father died when he was just 9 years old, thrusting him into a world of challenges and responsibilities at a young age. He pursued his education with fervor, eventually studying law at Fort Hare University and later at the University of Witwatersrand. It was during these formative years that Mandela's consciousness was awakened to the stark realities of apartheid, the brutal system of racial segregation that would later become the focal point of his life's work. His early experiences laid the foundation for the resilient and principled leader he would become, setting him on a path toward activism and ultimately changing the course of history. The apartheid era in South Africa, a dark period of institutionalized racial segregation and oppression, set the stage for Nelson Mandela's lifelong struggle for justice. The apartheid policy, which officially began in 1948, stripped non-white South Africans, particularly the majority black population, of their basic rights and dignity. It imposed a web of discriminatory laws and practices that divided people based on race, relegating non-white South Africans to a life of subjugation. Mandela, by this time a young lawyer, quickly became involved in the anti-apartheid movement. He joined the African National Congress, or ANC, a political organization dedicated to ending apartheid and achieving equality for all South Africans. The government's response to this activism was harsh, and in 1960, the Sharpeville massacre, in which police killed peaceful protesters, shook the world's conscience and intensified the global spotlight on South Africa's oppressive regime. As the apartheid regime escalated its crackdown on opposition, Mandela's commitment to the cause deepened. The apartheid era marked a turning point in his life as he transitioned from a young lawyer into a key figure in the fight for justice, setting the stage for a remarkable journey that would forever change the course of South African politics and the world's perception of human rights. Nelson Mandela's life became synonymous with unwavering activism against apartheid and the pursuit of justice. As the apartheid regime intensified its oppressive measures, Mandela's activism grew bolder and more determined. In 1961, he co-founded Umkhonto weSizwe, or MK, also known as the Spear of the Nation, an armed wing of the ANC dedicated to nonviolent protest. Mandela believed that peaceful means of resistance had proven futile in the face of extreme government brutality. This shift toward armed struggle marked a critical juncture in his activism and was a decision made in desperation to bring attention to the injustice endured by the black population. Mandela's commitment to the cause was unwavering, and his actions led to his designation as a wanted man by the apartheid government. His activities as a leader in the ANC and MK included acts of sabotage, which were aimed at destabilizing the apartheid regime without causing harm to individuals. His activism ultimately landed him in the crosshairs of the government, and he became a symbol of resistance and defiance, inspiring others both within and outside of South Africa to take a stand against apartheid. Despite the risks, Mandela's activism remained resolute, becoming a beacon of hope for a nation yearning for freedom and justice. Nelson Mandela's unyielding activism against apartheid would lead to a dramatic turning point in his life. In 1962, he was arrested by the South African government while on the run, as the authorities had launched a nationwide manhunt for him. Mandela's arrest marked the beginning of a long and arduous journey through the justice system. In 1964, he was sentenced to life in prison during the infamous Rivonia trial, along with other prominent anti-apartheid leaders. His crime? Advocating for the end of apartheid, a system that dehumanized the majority of South Africa's population based on race. For 27 years, Mandela was confined to the harsh and isolated Robben Island prison, where he endured grueling labor and harsh conditions. Despite these challenges, his spirit remained unbroken. His imprisonment transformed him into an international symbol of the anti-apartheid struggle, garnering widespread support and calls for his release. Mandela's time behind bars was not in vain. It was during these years that he honed his leadership skills and maintained his commitment to the cause. His tenacity, even in the face of such adversity, would ultimately contribute to the end of apartheid and South Africa's eventual transition to democracy. Nelson Mandela's imprisonment did more than confine a single man. It ignited a global movement. As news of his arrest and the brutal realities of apartheid spread, international awareness and pressure began to mount, transforming Mandela into a symbol of the struggle for justice. Around the world, people from all walks of life rallied in support of Mandela and the anti-apartheid movement. Artists, activists, politicians, and citizens came together to call for his release and an end to apartheid. The apartheid regime, realizing the growing global solidarity, faced increasing diplomatic isolation and economic sanctions. The international community's condemnation of apartheid was undeniable. One of the most significant moments in this global movement was the United Nations call for a comprehensive arms embargo against South Africa in 1977. The years that followed saw a growing chorus of nations and organizations pushing for sanctions, further isolating the apartheid government. The international pressure continued to build throughout Mandela's imprisonment, creating a mounting sense of urgency for South Africa to change its ways. The world had its eyes on South Africa, and the apartheid regime found it increasingly difficult to maintain its oppressive grip in the face of growing global opposition. Mandela's plight transcended borders, demonstrating the power of collective global action and solidarity in the fight for justice. After 27 years of incarceration, Nelson Mandela's release from prison in 1990 marked a pivotal moment, not only in his life, but in the history of South Africa. His release was the result of both internal and external pressures, as well as negotiations with the apartheid government. Mandela's release was met with jubilation, both within South Africa and around the world. It signaled the beginning of a new era for the nation, a time of hope and optimism for the end of apartheid. His release was a testament to his endurance, unwavering commitment to justice, and the power of collective action in bringing about change. Following his release, Mandela played a central role in negotiations that led to the end of apartheid and the establishment of a democratic, multiracial South Africa. These negotiations, which involved leaders from various political parties, were instrumental in dismantling the oppressive system of apartheid and laying the groundwork for a new South Africa. In 1994, the first fully democratic elections were held in South Africa, allowing all citizens to vote regardless of their race. Nelson Mandela ran as a candidate for the African National Congress, or ANC, and won a resounding victory, becoming the first black president of South Africa. This historic election marked the end of apartheid and the dawn of a new, inclusive era for the nation. As president, Mandela faced the enormous task of uniting a deeply divided country and promoting reconciliation between the previously oppressed majority and the minority white population. His leadership during this period was characterized by his commitment to forgiveness and unity as he sought to heal the wounds of the past and build a more equitable and just South Africa. Mandela's presidency from 1994 to 1999 left an indelible mark on South Africa, and his leadership served as a beacon of hope and an example of statesmanship for the world. His ability to transcend the bitterness of the past and promote reconciliation made him a global symbol of peace and justice. In the years following his presidency, Nelson Mandela continued to be a source of inspiration, not only for South Africa, but for the entire world. He retired from politics, devoting his time to various charitable causes and championing peace, reconciliation, and human rights. Mandela's later life was a testament to the enduring power of forgiveness and reconciliation. He met with former adversaries, including his former jailers, and worked tirelessly to bridge the gaps that had divided South Africa for so long. His efforts helped foster a spirit of unity and tolerance that laid the foundation for the nation's ongoing journey towards healing and progress. As the years passed, Mandela's health began to decline, but his spirit remained unbroken. On December 5, 2013, the world mourned as he peacefully passed away, leaving behind a legacy of courage, determination, and the unwavering belief in the possibility of positive change. His life and work continue to serve as a reminder that even in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds, one person can change the course of history. Mandela's life and legacy serve as an enduring inspiration, a reminder that the human spirit can overcome even the harshest of circumstances, and that the pursuit of justice is a path worth traveling, no matter the obstacles. His passing marked the end of an era, but his legacy lives on, reminding us that change is possible, even in the face of the most formidable challenges. Nelson Mandela's impact on South African politics and the world at large is a testament to the enduring power of one individual's unwavering commitment to a just and equitable world.